Hi everyone, I'm Heidi with Oni Go Stamping. Welcome to my craft corner. I am so excited that you are joining me today because I'm going to share with you a technique that I had been struggling with. It's not a hard technique, it was just a matter of finding the right tools. So I'm really excited to share with you how to get a nice soft cloud or puff of ink in the center of your cardstock. Before we get started, if you do not already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you need help ordering product or getting started stamping, or maybe you just have some questions about how to do this card or another card, please reach out to me. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Just send me an email or leave a comment to this video and I'll get back to you. All right, Oni Go, let's get stamping. So I am really excited about today's card because it uses a technique that I have tried to master for the longest time and just couldn't get it right. So I'm really excited that I can finally do it, and it was all about finding the right tools. So let me start by showing you the tools that didn't work. So first of all, the technique we're trying to do is we're trying to get a puff of ink, a little cloud of ink in the center of the card. So it's basically ink blending, but we're only using one color. And I wanted it in the center of the card, so it needed to look good on all sides, right? So I started with trying a sponge dauber, and I tried a piece of sponge. And those work okay if you're able to start offside the edge of the card and pull the ink onto it. That way you don't get, you kind of get rid of the splotchiness before you're actually working on your card. But to get that puff or cloud of ink in the center of the card, they didn't cut it. So I also tried a makeup sponge, I tried a stipple brush, I tried a paintbrush. All right, and let me show you what this did. So, and I don't remember which one of these things went with which sample. They just were all annoying me to no end. So as you can see here, it's kind of got it, but there's some splotchy parts and some, it's like lines. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just not soft and smooth. And on the back, you can see this one has, really dark spots. This one has this light spot in the middle. Again, here, it's getting lines on it. This one was okay, but again, on the edges, it has lines. It's just not really pretty, right? It's not the look I was going for. So then I read somewhere to try a makeup brush. All right, so I pulled out a makeup brush from my makeup cabinet and I tried this. No, this was not right either. All right, the bristles are too long, they're too far apart. This was not what I needed, so that did not work. So then I was at Target and I found these makeup brushes. Now you can also find blending brushes at your craft store specifically for doing ink blending, but I was at Target. I didn't want to make a second stop, so I picked up these makeup brushes. And the important part is that they have short bristles, so not too long, but they are packed in there super, super tight. You probably can't even see this on the video that those are individual little bristles, but they're packed in there really, really tight, and they're super, super soft. All right, so really soft, short, packed bristles. Beautiful. I have decided that this one I'm using it for cool colors. This one I'm using for warm colors, and then this one I have not decided yet. So we'll wait and see till I have a project that I need a small one for. So I'm going to use the medium one because I'm going to be using pink for this. Well, actually Magenta Madness. I'm going to start with just a piece of Whisper White cardstock. All right, just Stampin' Up's basic cardstock. And I have my Magenta Madness ink pad. These are just dye inks from Stampin' Up. And I have a clear block. So I'm just going to start by getting some ink on my brush. I'm just going to rub it a little bit in both directions. Now be careful. Well, I shouldn't really say be careful, but these dye inks do have foam pads, so they're really squishy, but it also means that they tend to run out of ink sooner, and doing a lot of this ink blending will probably pull up quite a bit of ink off your ink pad. So make sure when you start doing this, if you're going to do it a lot, that you start to build up those re-inkers so you can get your ink pads re-inked. I found with these ink pads, it's good to re-ink them before they get too horribly bad, because if they get too horribly bad, it can be hard to get them properly re-inked, whereas if you kind of just do it all the time, it's a little bit easier. So I just rub that over the top, and now I'm just going to tap off some of the extra ink, okay, so I don't get a big blotch in the center of my card. And I just want to make a poof, a cloud of ink down here in kind of the lower left corner. So I'm going to start softly and then just kind of push a little bit harder. Okay. You can see how that just all makes this nice poof, and I can come, if I want a little bit more, I can just pick it back up off my clear block, add that back in the center, and I just get this nice airy cloud of ink. Exactly what I was looking for. Is that gorgeous? I love it. I love this just cloud of ink. Beautiful. Now when I want to clean this, I have an old receiving blanket from when my kids were little, which was a really long time ago. And it really needs to be washed right now, but I just found a kind of clean spot on it, and I just rub that brush on there until that pink starts, is pretty much gone. And then I can check it on my paper, and you'll see most of that's out, so I might rub it a little bit more. And this just gets the rest of that ink out of there. And I will set that aside till next time. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my clear block aside, and we're gonna finish off this card. This is a really fun card. So I'm gonna be using the Well Said stamp set and the Pattern Play stamp set and the Well Written dies. So using the Well Written dies, I have cut 3 of these birthday sayings out of the Coastal Cabana cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna stack these up. You could use the new foam adhesive sheets, but what I like to stack them so that you get that color all the way through to the bottom instead of having white. So all I do is I just take some of my liquid glue, and I'm just gonna put little dots. I'm not even really pushing. I'm just letting gravity pull out, let out just a little tiny dot on, each of the letters. I try to find the larger spots, or just make sure it's kind of spread out. So put just a little bit of glue, and then I'm just going to stack this on top of one of the other ones, which isn't too hard. It's just my fingers, fat fingers. It's always the fat fingers problem. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do that with a third one. So I have 3 of these stacked up on top of each other. So there's the third. And let me get that up there. All right. And it just takes really just a little bit of ink, not ink, a little bit of glue. It doesn't take much to hold those together. They kind of want to stick together. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card front. Again, just putting a little bit of ink, some little glue dots. Why do I keep saying ink? Some little glue dots here and there on the back. All around. Want to be careful not to get too much glue because you don't want to get it all over the place. So set my glue aside, pull my card front back in, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue that birthday right on there, and hopefully that is straight. I hope. We'll see. So just like that. All right, now I am going to grab one of the stamps from the Pattern Play stamp set, and I'm going to grab some gorgeous grape ink. And I'm just going to stamp this right under the birthday. This is why I like to glue down the birthday first. This way I can kind of make sure everything else is straight, at least straight to the birthday. And I'm just going to stamp that twice with that gorgeous grape. And then I'm going to come in with the Happy from the Well Said stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp Happy up here above the A and the Y. So just like that. And put the gorgeous grape away. And I'm going to go back and grab that Magenta Madness again. And now I kind of have these like little burst stamp from the Pattern Play, or yeah, Playful Patterns, yeah, stamp set. I'm just gonna stamp that on my card front as well. Kind of do it different directions. I'll do one more up here. So just like that. And then you will notice that my birthday does not have a dot. Well, there is a dot. I'll show you. Here's one. All right, these things are tiny. I can't keep track of them. So I have given up even trying to keep track of them. And instead, of course now I can't find, oh, here we go. Instead, I just grab my Rhinestone Basic Jewels and I use one of those for the dot on the birthday. Adds a little bling, and it's a lot easier than dealing with those tiny little specks. So this one right on there, push that on. They have adhesive on the back, so they just stick all on their own. All right, and then just something else. I'm gonna use my Wink of Stella glitter brush, and I'm gonna add this over top of my birthday die cut, just to give it a little bit more sparkle, a little bit more fun. I don't know if y'all can see that sparkle. Ooh, I got a big blob that came out. I can tell it got really sparkly. So I don't know if you can see the sparkle, but this is super, super sparkly on here. And I love the Wink of Stella brush, glitter brush, hard name to remember. But anyway, I love the Wink of Stella because it gives the gorgeous glitter without making a giant mess. I don't actually have to deal with a pot of glitter. It's not gonna rub off and get glitter all over the place. It's just gonna stay right there. So I love the Wink of Stella. So this piece of Whisper White is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I'm gonna glue it on a piece of gorgeous grape cardstock that is 3 15/16 by 5 3/16. When I am doing a narrow mat on my card fronts, I really love to have them be 3/16 inch bigger, wider and taller than what they're matting, right? So I know that some people don't like to work in 16th inches. The 16ths are too much for them to deal with, and that's fine. You could do a quarter inch mat, but I just love the look of that 3/16 inch mat, skinny mat that it puts on there. So I use it a lot. This is kind of one of my standard card fronts, is that I use the 3 3/4 by 5, and then the 3/16 inch bigger on the edges, and then that makes a bigger mat on the front of my card. You'll see. All right, so I just have some Coastal Cabana card front that is 8.5 by 5.5, and I fold it in half. And now I'm just going to add this card front to the front of it. Quick and easy. Just like that. And there's my card. So simple and fun. And I just love that cloud of ink in the center. So let me show you a couple more samples that I have the same kind of puff of ink in the middle of. So there's that one. And then I have this one where I use the To a Wild Rose stamp set. And I made that puff of ink with some petal pink ink. And then I stamped the rose in petal pink ink too. And it's kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but it is popped up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I just love the way it looks with that soft pink kind of framing it behind it. So pretty. And then here is the one that I did. This one I did in Balmy Blue. This is using the new Snowflake Wishes stamp set that's in the August to December mini catalog. And I did that puff of ink again with Balmy Blue, and I added some Balmy Blue snowflakes, and then I cut some of the Balmy Blue glimmer paper with the snowflake dies. I stamped the greeting actually with Misty Moonlight, one of the new ink colors. So just a really fun, pretty, fairly easy Christmas card that you could make. That's just, sparkly and pretty. I love it. So I am just loving this little puff of ink technique. I bet you are going to see it on a ton of my cards now because I love it. I love it. I'm going to play with it all the time now. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, I hope that you will press like on this video. Maybe click that little bell so that you get notifications when I put out new videos. Subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and come back and see me again. All right. If you have any questions, you know how to contact me. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.